Hello, my name is Hannah Philpott, and I am a student at Western Kentucky University. I am currently in a secondary education course entitled Planning for Diversity. As a part of this course, I will be reflecting on research, data, and my own personal experiences about working and teaching with individuals with Down syndrome. In order to better understand what is expected of teachers when working with individuals with Down syndrome, let me give you a little bit of information about Down syndrome itself. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. Individuals born with Down syndrome have an extra chromosome 21, also known as trisomy 21. This occurs during cell division when the genes of the mother and father are combining to create the baby. Individuals with Down syndrome have extra genetic material that alters their development and gives babies the physical appearance associated with the disorder. Individuals with Down syndrome typically have low muscle tone, smaller stature with narrow shoulders, an upward slant to their eyes, a large space between their big toe and their second toe, thicker tongues, and a single deep crease across the palm of their hands. Doctors can often detect several of these features as soon as the child is born. Children with Down syndrome also may have mental impairments as they are developing into toddlers. Because of their low muscle tone, their motor skills do not develop as quickly as a typically developing child, so they do not have the opportunity to explore and learn from the world around them. Therefore, their cognitive development may suffer as a result of the affected motor skills. Language is also something that is affected by lacking motor skills. Their thick tongues and poor oral motor control often causes a problem with their speech and language development. Their understanding is often underestimated due to the language development delay. Children often have a much higher cognitive understanding than is ever realized due to their inability to communicate and because of the language delay. It can be extremely frustrating to the child and can sometimes lead to behavior problems. As future educators, it is important to know the laws that surround students with Down syndrome and other exceptionalities. The Education of All Handicapped Children Act was instituted in 1975 and later renamed the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, also known as IDEA. IDEA mandates that a free and appropriate public education be available for all school-aged children with special needs. A free appropriate education, also known as FARP, requires that students receive special education and related services that meet their unique needs and prepare them for an independent living, employment, or post-secondary education once their secondary education is complete. IDEA mandates that every individual education program, or IEP, is developed for each child by an IEP team, which includes the student's parents. The IEP contains a description of the special education services, related services, and other supports, modifications, and accommodations that the child may need. The IDEA and least restriction environment mandates that all students be in an environment where they can excel. The LRE provisions in IDEA states each student must establish procedures to assure that the maximum intent appropriate children with disabilities are educated to the children who are not disabled are educated with children who are not disabled and that special classes, separating schools, or the removal of children with disabilities from the regular education environment occurs only when the nature of severity of the disability is such that the education in regular classes with the use of supplemental aids and services cannot be achieved satisfactorily. So what does this mean for you as an educator? It will most likely mean that you will have students with Down syndrome in your classroom. You are legally required to follow your part of the IEP and make sure that you are including these students in your classroom activities. But students with Down syndrome will not be a burden to you in any way. From my own experiences, I can tell you that they are an absolute joy to work with and can bring a lot to your classroom. They are extremely social and love to interact with everyone and will do so in your classroom as well. In high school, I was a peer tutor to 2 students with Down syndrome. Everyone loved them so much and were extremely popular. So much so that the senior student I worked with was elected as prom queen. This fit her personality perfectly since she was a total diva, and she even asked to wear her crown to school for the duration of the school period. She was extremely loved by everyone and brought a lot to our classrooms. At the beginning of class each day, the teacher would allow her to share her bell ringer, which many students could not understand, but just the fact that she got to share with the class and felt appreciated created a great environment. You will have these students in your classroom, and it is important to let their social aspects shine. They may not be able to do your regular English or history assignments to their full capacity, but they can add a great amount of positivity to your classroom environment. It is also important to encourage students with Down syndrome to be active and involved in the school. I have the privilege of getting to coach the greatest team in the world, the Rockers. They are a dance team made up of 15 members with Down syndrome, ranging in age from 15 to 55. They are living proof that anyone can be a part of a team and work towards a common goal. They practice once a week and have several performances each year. Their favorite performances include school visits, church visits, and performing at the Hot Rods minor league baseball games in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They dance in several different styles. Some of their dances are more serious to convey a message of hope, and they work on their fluid movements. These performances include inspirational songs like The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Other dances are more upbeat and fun to work on their rhythm and balance. These performances include songs like Baby by Justin Timberlake and Roar by Katy Perry. All the dances and performances help improve their skills, bring the Down syndrome community together, and advocate for Down syndrome. You will have a similar job as an educator. It is important to remember that you must not only include students with Down syndrome in your classroom, but you must include them wholeheartedly in your communities.